Hi, I'm Ben, and I'm a chemistry teacher. Up until now, my channel has been all about educating people in chemistry, whether it's solving chemical problems or providing tutorials and walkthroughs. I've been all about chemistry up until now, but now I would like to branch off from my normal routine of teaching chemistry, and specifically I'd like to address the YouTube partners out there. So if you are a YouTube partner and you're watching this video, you may want to stick around and listen up because in this video I will be showing you how to pay taxes on your YouTube earnings. So the YouTube Partnership Program is wonderful because it allows content publishers the opportunity to make money off of their videos in the form of advertisements. So all those advertisements that you see playing at the beginning or during a video that you have to skip or click out of or whatever, those are actually making money for the people who work so hard to put that content out there. Now the downside to making money off of YouTube is that throughout the year, the monthly payments that you receive, there are no federal tax withholdings on those payments. So the government's not taking anything out of your money. So it looks like a lot of money. You may be tempted to go play around with it or spend it or piss it away otherwise, but they're not taking any money out of that. However, it is still taxable income, and you must pay taxes on that income. And the way that you do that is by writing a check and sending it to the United States Treasury, and you have to file the appropriate tax forms. So that's what this video is going to be all about. It's going to be about which tax forms you need, how to file them, where to send the money, if you need to send any money at all, and everything in between. So let's get into it. So in this video, it's going to be divided up into 3 sections. So you can click the link for each section if you'd like to skip ahead. And the first section has to do with the forms that you are going to receive. So these are the forms that you receive from your employer. I think most people, they have another job in addition to making YouTube videos, and they'll usually receive a Form W-2 or something like that. And then they also get the tax forms that they receive from Google, from YouTube. So that's going to be about that, how to get those forms. The second section is going to be forms that you download yourself. So the tax forms from the IRS website, that's going to be which forms you need and how to get those. And then the last section, which is probably going to be the longest, is how to fill out those forms and how to file them and where you send your return when it's all done. So the first section in this video is all about the forms that you receive from your employer or employers. And like I said earlier, most people, in addition to making YouTube videos, they have either a part-time or a full-time job. And typically you will get a Form W-2. And if you've had more than one job, you will get multiple Forms W-2. So again, these come from your job, and if you haven't already gotten them, you can just contact your employer or your former employer, and they will send you your Form W-2 to the address that you provide. Now, the next form that you're going to have to get is the one that you get from YouTube, which is the 1099 MISC. So this should have been mailed out to you by February 15th. However, in my personal experience, I had a hard time getting my Form 1099. They didn't send it to me when they should have, so I had to request a reissue. So I'll go ahead and show you how to do that now. So to request a reissue for your 1099, you're going to want to open up your web browser and then type in google.com/AdSense. And then log in if you haven't already done so. And then this will bring you to the Google AdSense home page. Once you're at this home page, you're going to locate a little gear symbol that's on the top right hand of the top right hand corner of the screen, and then click it. That's going to bring up a drop down menu, and then you will select Payments. So that'll bring you to this new screen here, the payment, and then it'll be have your payment history on it. And then you'll want to click on Payee Profile. Once you've opened up your Payee Profile, there's a link at the very top that says Edit. You want to click that. And then if your address hasn't been updated, if you need to update your address, you can make all of those changes right here to change your address and make it up to date so that Google can send you your 1099. So assuming your address is up to date, at this point you have to request your reissue. And the way that you do that is actually very complex. What you do is you click on the question mark on the top right hand corner, and that'll bring up a help form, and you want to type in the words contracting entity. So that's contracting entity. And then once you enter that, you'll select the link that says contracting entity is Google Inc. And then when you open that up, it'll show you this article, and then you want to scroll down about midway through the article, and then there will be a section that says, will you send me a Form 1099 or 1042? At the very bottom of this section, you'll see a light blue box that says, if you haven't received or have lost your Form 1099, you can request a new 1099. So then you're going to click that, and then fill out all of the requested information so that they can send you your new 1099. Now, when I did this, it was very quick. There was a very quick turnaround. Once I filled in this form and they sent me my 1099, I think it arrived in my mailbox within 2 days. So there's a very quick turnaround. But the process of actually getting it, though, is very complex indeed. So there's how to do that. So the second section of this form has to do with the forms that you download from the IRS website, which is irs.gov. So if you go to irs.gov, there are plenty of forms that you can download. And the 3 forms that we need, or at least that I use to file my taxes, are a Form 1040, a Form 1040 Schedule CEZ, and finally a Form 1040 Schedule SE. So we're going to go to the IRS website and get our hands on all 3 of these forms. So I'm going to open up my web browser. I'm going to type in that URL, which is irs.gov, and that's going to bring me to the IRS's homepage. Then once you're there, you're going to click on Forms and Pubs. So you click on Forms and Pubs, and then once you are at the Forms and Pubs page, you're going to click this thing here that says Current Forms and Pubs. And now that we've clicked that, all we have to do is just search for the forms that we need and then find them. So the first form, like I said, was the Form 1040, so I just type in 1040, and it's the first hit. All I have to do is download this to my computer using my web browser. Very easy. Next one I need is the Schedule CEZ, so I'm going to type in Schedule CEZ, and it's the first hit. Once again, I'm going to download that form to my computer. And the last one that we need is the Schedule SE, which again, after searching for Schedule SE, the very first hit, that's going to be the one that we want. So those 3 forms need to be downloaded to your computer, and you have a choice. You can either print them out and fill them out by hand, or you can fill them out electronically. So the choice is yours. So the last section of this video has to do with filling out and filing your tax forms. So currently what we're looking at is both pages of the Form 1040. So you want to fill out all of the applicable sections of this form. The first section up here, this is just where your personal information goes, so your first name and initial, last name, social security number, and you might fill it out differently depending on if you are married or you're single or whatever your marital status might be. And then your filing status and your exemptions, that's going to depend on if you can claim yourself or if someone else can claim you and all that good stuff. Your income, that's a very important section, because in box 7 of the income section is where you're going to put all of those wages, salaries, tips, etc. from all of your forms W-2. So you take everything from that box that says wages, salaries, tips, etc. from all of your W-2s, you add them together, and that will go in box 7. And then in box 12 is where the business income, and that's going to be the income that comes from your YouTube channel, is going to go. So that's going to go in box 12, and that's that value, that number that you get, is going to come from your Form 1099 MISC that was sent to you by Google. And then you can combine those, and that'll give you box 22. Also, if there are any other forms of income that apply to you, with me it was just boxes 7 and 12, and then they added up together to give us to give me box 22, and that took care of it for me. But again, it might be different for your particular situation. And then there's the what's called the adjusted gross income part of the form down here. And the only box that I filled out was box number 27. There were some expenses that I had. I bought some software and some hardware to be able to film videos and produce content for my channel. So I deducted that from my taxes, included it in box 27. And then you can use everything on this page to give you boxes 36 and 37, and the rest of it is pretty straightforward. So on the second page of this 1040, what we see is basically the point of this page is to figure out whether you owe money, whether you have to pay more money in taxes, or whether you'll be receiving a tax return. So this is where you would figure that out. So again, with these sections, they're pretty straightforward. You're just going to want to follow the instructions exactly. Again, some of these boxes can be left blank. In my case, I was able to leave box 42 blank for the exemptions. Didn't apply to me, so I just wrote 0. Everything else I had something in there based on the previous page of the form. And there's some other things that are going to ask you to attach a Schedule SE, and remember that was one of the forms that I told you to download, so all that's going to be taken care of. And then of course at the very bottom, your signature, your date, your occupation, phone number, all that stuff, and then the 1040 form will be good to go. So the next form we got to fill out is the Schedule C EZ form. And at the very top of the first page on this Schedule C EZ, you'll see a flow chart, and basically this flow chart is supposed to differentiate whether you can fill out a Schedule C EZ or just a plain old Schedule C. If you're just a regular guy like me, making YouTube videos by myself, don't have a whole lot of expenses, don't have any employees, the Schedule C EZ is the way to go. And then when it comes to this box A here where it says principal business or profession, including product or service, all I did was I just typed in YouTube video ads. And then there's another section here for your business code, and there's more information about that on the second page of this form. And my business code that I used was 541800, which corresponds to advertising, which seemed fitting because that's how the money is made. It comes from advertising revenue. Other than that, the other part of this form is the other important part of this form is part 2, where you figure out your net profit. So if, like I said earlier, with the 1040, if there's any expenses that you've had in the production of your videos, like for me, I bought some software, I bought some hardware, you would list that in box 2 of your of your expenses. And then you would calculate your net profit from the amount of money that you made from Google, from YouTube, minus the expenses, and that will give you your net profit. And then the second page of this Schedule C EZ form, I didn't even fill out. I left this entire page blank. There's just mostly information on this page about what to do. And then there's an optional worksheet down below where it says, you can list other expenses and deductions and things like that, which for me were not applicable. So as far as I see it, the Schedule C EZ has been finished, and we can move on to the next form. So the last form that needs to be filed with your taxes on your YouTube earnings is the Schedule SE form. And just like with the Schedule C EZ, on this Schedule SE form, there is a flow chart at the very top of the page, so you basically just answer the questions and follow the flow chart. And what that flow chart is trying to determine is whether you can fill out the short version or the long version of the Schedule SE. The short version is located right here on page 1, and the long version is located on the second page of the Schedule SE. My particular situation, I was able to fill out the short version, which is located at the bottom. And again, all this is pretty straightforward. You just write in your net profit and your loss, which has already been figured out from Schedule C at this point. And on line 4, you multiply line 3 by 92.35%. So it's a little bit of math, a little bit of calculating, but nothing too complicated. And again, just follow the instructions, read each line, and you should have this form knocked out no problem. So at this point, we have filled out all of the necessary tax forms. Now the only thing left to do is to make copies of them for your own personal records. That way you know how to do this again next year, so it's not nearly as hard next year as it was this year. And then you have to mail them out. Now again, your 1040, that's the one that's going to tell you whether or not you owe money. Okay? And if you owe money, you're going to send your tax return to a different place than if you don't owe money. So there's a nice little page here on the IRS website, if I can pull that up. Yes, it's right here. So for your 1040, it depends on what state you live in, and it also depends on if you owe money or not. So in my particular situation, I live in the state of Florida, so that's the second row over here, and I am not going to be enclosing a payment, so I am going to send it to this Austin, Texas address right here. Now, if you do owe money and you are enclosing a payment, you want to make that check payable to the United States Treasury, not to the Internal Revenue Service. You want to make it payable to the United States Treasury. Now, again, whether you have to pay money or not, it really all just depends on how much YouTube earnings you have versus earnings at your other job. Me, I have a full-time job. I work as a high school chemistry teacher, so I don't make a whole lot of money, but I don't make a whole lot of money off of YouTube either. So the federal withholdings that came from my real job, they were more than enough to offset the lack of federal withholdings from my YouTube money. So even though I am paying my taxes, I'm not going to end up owing money in the long run, because that money that I owe is just going to be deducted from the tax return that I would already be receiving. So again, I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask, although keep in mind I'm not a tax expert, I'm a chemistry expert. So anyway, that's it, and all right, happy filing.